Slot. This is Marilyn Drayer up here to show us what she's got.
This is not my crew. My crew does not bite. Well, having retired a couple years ago after 40 years as a document-carrying merchant marine. Oh, closer to the mic. Mike, I don't see Mike. How about that? How do you follow the ratfish wranglers? I mean, cut the cheeks. That's like reminding me of hold back 2 totes of halibut heads in Soldotna because we've only got 3 girls from Seward going to cut cheeks this week. Okay. So I wrote a little spiel about my first summer fishing in Puget Sound. This is the bolt decision summer of '77. And it turned out to be one of the best birthdays of my life. I worked on the Justice, one of Warren Hansen's boats. I don't know if anybody knows the history of fishing in Puget Sound, but Warren Hansen was a rabble-rouser who ran for Congress and tried to tear down the bolt decision immediately. But anyway, I was working on the Justice, one of Warren Hansen's boats, an old wooden block seiner fishing out of Blaine, Washington with Peter Green and crew. Peter's sister was to come out from the other Washington to cook, but met someone on the train who was more interesting than her brother, so she didn't make it. So I was given the opportunity to go fishing 3 or 4 days a week in the daytime so I could keep my studio on the top of the Herald building in Bellingham. Why not? What a summer. Of course I got to cook, but also knew how to turn a wrench. My dad had given me my first set of sockets for my 16th birthday, much to Mother's chagrin. He showed me how to use them, though. This was Diesel Mechanics, Hydraulics Network, and Wooden Boat Patching Crash Course summer. Toward the end of August, the infamous Warren Hansen, looking for publicity for his congressional run, Hello News Choppers, was out in Friday Harbor protesting the bolt decision with his contingency of followers and their fishing boats, seining the ferry. There's lots of news footage on that. They had every channel's chopper out there. In fact, they almost had a chopper crash for that one. But Pete and the crew had been working on a refit of an old Marco steel skiff and were busy putting an old engine in our vintage plywood one. Looking at the weather for an excuse, high pressure and the nor'easters that bring the Straits of Georgia to a rabble-rousing kind of dance for driving boats through. Said, I'm not taking that old seiner over there. Besides, the Adams River run is about to hit. So there we were the next day at Point Roberts on my birthday, the only block boat with a newly tapered end beach setting when they hit. What a scene. Bluebacks as far as you could see. Pursed that first set and deck loaded. Dry scow tender came to us. Slid in for set number 2 and the orcas show up. Hundreds of them. Yep, there used to be more than 2 pods in the Sound. They probably came down from Canada and outside too. They know when the big runs hit. I had the pleasure of being skiff man that day, my birthday. Thanks, Pete. He was pushing me further and further onto the beach, stretching out that long tapered end as the orcas are running through the sets of the drum boats. 5 sets out from us off the beach. Every single one of those boats lost their net that day. But I'm pushing that skiff harder down the beach, hanging on for dear life, wood chips flying, watching those bluebacks just circle around and down the taper and into the set. Now that was a round haul. What a blessing. Our tender was right there because we had to tie off to keep afloat. We had more fish in that set than we'd had all summer. It was beautiful, all bright blueback sockeye, not a slimy to be found. No red jellies, just a real beat-up old skiff. Its last run, that was. Herman was given a proper Viking funeral that weekend. We'll always remember a Chesapeake Bay boy for his fishing instinct and giving the best paid birthday of my life. So I have one mini poem. My last job was with the state of Washington Ferries, and I worked a boat where my pilot house was 65 feet above the water and had 17 windows across. And guess who got to wash the windows? That was after this happened. A murder of crows from out of the sky, across pilot house windows flying by. Gleanings off the beach, a mere glint in their eye. Oh, mollusks, where do you hide on the outgoing tide? Thanks, and I didn't pee my pants.